fifth highest corporate tax in the entire country with the business profits tax and the business enterprise tax. And that's why I put forward a specific plan to lower both of those tax rates, lowering the business profits tax from its current rate of 8.5% to 5% by the year 2020. Same thing with the business enterprise tax. You know, that's a tax on payroll. We tax businesses in our state right now that don't even make a profit. And to me, that's not right. So my plan lowers the business enterprise tax from 0.75% to 0.25% where it originally started by the year 2020. And then exempting any business that's doing less than $500,000 in revenue that doesn't make a profit for the year. We're going to exempt them entirely from having to pay that BET. Because look, if you have an entrepreneur in this state and they're looking to start a business, they look at all of the risk variables that they may be incurring those first few years when they're not making any money. And what they see right now is that the state of New Hampshire is going to tax them no matter what. Even if they don't make money, they're going to get taxed. And I don't think that that's a disincentive to start a business in this state. So to me, we've got to reform those corporate taxes. And then, of course, there's the regulation side as well. You know, we over-regulate the heck out of small businesses. And actually, this is probably a good venue to talk about my recent trip to the Red Hook Brewery, where, you know, right now we have this regulation on the books that prevents Red Hook from brewing certain flavors of beer in the state, which may not sound like a big deal until you look at the money that we're losing as a state in tax revenue. They're literally doing hundreds of thousands of dollars in business in states like Washington and in Massachusetts because they can't brew certain flavors of beer right here in New Hampshire. They can sell the beer here, just can't brew it here. And Red Hook over in Portsmouth, they're the East Coast distributor for that company. Mm-hmm. So they want to be doing more business here in New Hampshire. But we've got all of these crazy regulations on small businesses that, in my opinion, we need to eliminate and remove if we're going to spur business growth in the state and really attract more businesses to move to the state of New Hampshire. We have to show that we are going to be a business-friendly state. You know, as I've said, I don't believe state government creates jobs, but what I do believe is that state government creates the atmosphere and the environment which is going to determine whether or not jobs get created. And to me, it's imperative to lower that corporate tax rate and get rid of a lot of these small business regulations. The only other point I'll make on that is that, you know, there are going to be some people who are going to say, well, Kevin, you're going to lose all that revenue up front if you start cutting the corporate tax rate. And to some degree, you know, that's going to be true in the short term, which is why I put forward a plan to streamline state government as well to make up for that revenue in the first few years. But ultimately, over time, what's going to happen is our economic base is going to expand. Because as we get rid of these regulations and lower the corporate tax rate, we're going to be a more attractive place for businesses to grow here, to create jobs here, and to move into the state. That it's going to expand our economic base over time. And revenues are going to go up. It's exactly what Mayor Giuliani did in New York City. Same thing. He slashed a lot of the corporate rate, and revenues over time during his administration went up, even though the corporate rate went down, because more businesses were now doing business in New York.